Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be coming here and connecting with each of you yet again. Give me just 1 second, like I always have to do. I have no idea why, but Facebook wants to, allow my stuff to just be viewed by me. I see me every day, I hear me every day. But when I come here on Sundays, my intention, because I'm intentional about everything that I do, my intention is to be able to connect with each and every one of you guys. So if you'll give it just a little bit, you should be able to see that is now public. It is now live on Facebook. I am also excited to be streaming to you guys from my YouTube channel, Forever Nicole LaTreece. Sorry, my Instagram wants to act up. So give me just another moment. Then I am going to get connected so my people on Instagram can join me, participate in the conversation, know that this is going on, and that, yeah, we're going to make this a really good conversation tonight. Oh, technology. I promise I need somebody to um, do this for me. Like, I know how to do it, and I'm all about knowing how to do everything for myself. But in order to have a good conversation and to focused, I can't be doing this stuff in the background. So give me just a moment. And hopefully this works. And then, of course, the stream key is like 50 million characters. Okay. We are almost there, I promise y'all. Okay, so I have no idea what is going on. So Instagram, yeah, I don't think you all are going to be able to see me tonight because it will not let me go live through my page, which stinks because I really want to be able to talk to my people and connect with y'all, like for real, for real. But I cannot let this slow me down. I cannot let this stop the show from going on because I everything that's been going on with me in my life lately has been super, super important to me. Um, it's been a journey, y'all. That's all I can really say for right now. But I am going to reset this room. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me this Saturday. I'm sorry, this Sunday. Ooh, Saturday was yesterday. I work today. So that's why I'm thinking that it's Saturday. But hey, joining me on this Sunday's episode of the Sunday Sit Down with yours truly, Nicole LaTreece. I am me, I am she. And yeah, thank you for joining me and being a part of the journey that I'm talking about. 2 weeks ago, I talked about my understanding and my recognition of being fumbled. Pretty much to be fumbled is for someone else to mishandle you, whether that is mishandling your feelings, mishandling your thoughts, mishandling your emotions, mishandling essentially just who you are, like your value in their lives. My presence is a present. And if You have been given the opportunity really to experience my presence. Yeah, don't squander it. Don't take it for granted. Appreciate it. Every day is not promised. And I say appreciate it because I appreciate those people who are also in my life as well. And I am intentional about showing that. And so, yeah, 2 weeks ago, I talked about that. And then the next part was last week, I talked about, just going through my process of now having the awareness of being fumbled. Um, and my fumbling has occurred in literally every single area, every single relationship of my life to some degree. Um, some relationships are kind of now in a holding pattern because there's a space that I need to be able to get into in order to like see if that particular relationship, one, is something that I'm supposed to continue to engage in, and two, if there is a call for engagement beyond the fumble, then what is that going to look like? And then there are some relationships that have taken that detrimental hit, and those relationships are no more. Like I tell my therapist, I will feel as though with the relationships that are no more, I was put into those spaces involuntarily. It was not of my own doing. It was not something that I would have wanted for myself. But hey, I can't, control other people and what their motivations are and what their intentions are. And when the writing is on the wall, what else are you supposed to do? So that leads to the conversation today. So I was fumbled. That was my awareness. Um, I knew I didn't want to be fumbled anymore, so I had to start to explore the things that needed to be done in order to heal, process, and grow from what had occurred. So that was my intention. That was my declaration to say, this is what happened. I am aware of what happened. I'm aware of how it made me feel. And I can guarantee you that that is not a way that I want to feel ever again in my natural born life. And I mean it. Like literally, I mean it. So tonight we are going to talk about the next step in my process. And it's actually our process because in my conversations personally with those people who, are still in my life and still around and are intentional about being um, a continued part of my story. Some of my people are going through the same thing. And I'm pretty sure there are some of you who are watching this and or listening to this that you may be experiencing the same thing. And you may now feel as though you have the strength, because it does take, like for me it took a supernatural type of strength, the strength that I honestly didn't have, to be able to get to the point to where I now feel comfortable with the fact that I have to walk away, and it's now my decision to walk away. um and it's been hard, I'm not gonna lie. Like growth is never easy. But last week, I was talking about just trying to process and understand, like, why do people with avoidant behaviors and avoidant nature, why do I seem to attract them to me? Um, and it's not every person displays the same avoidant tendencies, and behaviors. But now, having gone through it in different ways and with different relationships, I can now 100% identify when someone is engaging in avoidant behavior. And sometimes it could be from an emotional standpoint. I'm a Pisces and I am emotional. Everyone is, but I know for me, like, I feel deeply. I feel in ways that are not normal to most people. I feel in ways that people may not have experienced someone else feeling for themselves or someone else feeling for other people in that same way. I know I'm different. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. Like, and not everyone can handle my difference, and not everyone is willing to practice the wherewithal that it takes for like me to just be. And it's funny that I'm talking about this now because it was addressed to me. I have no problems with talking about my personal life and experiences that have really happened to me. Um, a friend that I have known since I was knee high to a grasshopper um, questioned, why do I overthink everything? And the process is still in play of me, like, getting to a point to where I have an understanding of where that question came from. I didn't take it offensively or anything like that. The thing that perplexes me is, like, it's two things actually. It's, why is that still something that's lingering in my head? And then two, the person who asked, it's, in my opinion, it would have been uncommon for them to ask such things, because of the life that they've lived in, all of the places that they visited, and um, just the fact that this person is like a worldly person, but they still ask me. And so let me give just a little bit of context. So we were having a conversation, me, this person, and another friend, and the conversation was, we were talking about like a lot of like different things. We talked about politics. We talked like things of men and women. Like the conversational period encompassed talking about a lot of different things. And then towards the end, like it was um, certain words were said, and the demeanor of the conversation was in a way that I didn't particularly care for. Now, I'm not taking it to heart. I'm not mad, anything like that. But me and this person, like I said, we've known each other for forever. So I figure I can just tell you, hey, bro, like, why are you speaking like that? Like, that ain't what's up. Like, and I said that because I've never heard that person speak on that subject in that particular way. Like, I've heard him say other things, other terms, but the term that I used, it was just like, well, dang, I mean, and you wonder why you attract what you attract. But I addressed it. It was like, hey, like, like, you why are you saying that? Like, why are you using that word? And things instantly shifted, and it was like, oh, well, this is just me. And that's the response that I got in the midst of me saying my point and my view on what we were talking about at the time. And then the question was asked to me, like, say, like, what's going on? I feel like whatever you've been going through in life right now, like, you just over analyzing everything. And I'm like, he's like, you don't always have to have something to say. And I'm like, but how in this moment am I just having something to say when we're actually engaging in a conversation? But the thing is, you wanted to shut down, you wanted to cut me off when it was my turn to say my point and I let you say what it was that you needed to say. Like, no, like we can disagree, we cannot feel the same way, but to close off because you don't understand why I am the way that I am, yeah, that doesn't rock with me. And in a way, it's just like, okay, that put me in a space where it's just like, okay, well, I need to walk away from this part of this conversation um, before it changes into something else that it doesn't really need to. And I was like, you know what? No shade. And I asked my other friend, I said, do you feel the same way? Because this is someone that I talk to on a pretty much daily basis. And he was like, well, I mean, no, I was like, do I talk with you like that? Because I'm just wanting to make sure if someone brings some information to me about how they perceive me, if there are other people in the room that I engage with, hey, if the consensus is the same, all right, cool. Like I will work on that. But the other person was like, no, like, and so I had to go back to my first friend and was like, hey, like no shade, but you feel that way because you and I don't get very many opportunities to engage in certain conversations. And because we don't engage in those conversations on a regular basis, like you feel like I'm either super deep or like I'm just doing too much. And if you feel like I'm doing too much, how about you get to know what it is that I'm doing and why I'm at this point? But the thing that is also funny to me, I'm a life coach. I talk to people. I come on here with you guys every Sunday to engage in conversation. So it's just like I'm not doing anything differently than what I naturally do, but you are not in the spaces of my natural life, so it looks unnatural to you. Or you may not think the same way that I think, or you may not want to be as deep as you feel like I am. All this, it's all cool. I have no problems with it. The only thing I take issue with is don't put your limitations of who it is that you want to be or how you want to engage or how you want to express yourself on me. And I want more. It's literally all it is. I'm intentional about my growth. And that takes me to in what we're here to talk about. Like, if there anything else from this conversation tonight, I'm going to digress from the conversation just a little bit because, like I said, I am a life coach. And with me being a life coach, like I have clients that I work with, I have people who trust me. And in my coaching space, I am a mindset elevation coach. And I focus on like 4 pillars, building 4 principles within my clients. And that is awareness, it's intention, it's hot energy. Hot stands for honest, open, and transparent. And then also accountability. Like those 4 things are a must. They're like law. So embarking on the journey of mindset elevation starts with the recognition that you are start I'm sorry. Embarking on the journey of mindset elevation starts with the recognition that you are the starting point and ending point of your transformation. That is the awareness piece. It is crucial to consciously set and manage your expectations as well as those set by others around you. That is intention. The next step into a place of determination and assertiveness, advocating for what you truly need to progress further. That's hot energy, honest, open, and transparent. Finally, uphold your commitments and ensure that both you and others fulfill what is necessary for your growth. That is accountability. So if you're ready to come join me on this path, let's embrace evolution together. And let's get started by having this conversation tonight, walking away from the hurt ones that we love. Today, we will tackle a deeply personal and often painful topic, walking away from the ones that we love when the relationship becomes more hurtful than healing. It's a path many find themselves on at some point or another in your life. There will be someone that you will have to walk away from, whether it is involuntary or voluntary. This is one thing that we cannot get away from. And though it is fraught with emotional challenges, it also offers an opportunity for profound personal growth. Like the greatest way that you can grow, in my opinion, is from doing the things that you really deep down in the nether regions of your body, space of truth and honesty and transparency, that space that you know is there. It is doing the things that are necessary in order for you to grow. God designed us to be evolutionary creatures. It is not enough, in my opinion. It is not enough to stay the same, to expect the people around you to be the only ones who change. Like, that is not the way that works. That is not going to lead you to a fulfilling life at all. Like, your experiences cause you to change. Your thought processes cause you to change. Your interactions with other people cause you to change. Your age causes you to change. Change is inevitable. But we have so many people out here who are wanting to stay the same. And in my own personal life, if you want to stay the same, cool. But if you staying the same is out of alignment with me, or if it becomes out of alignment with the relationship that we have grown together to experience, I'm not a savage. It don't just happen. Like, I don't want to walk away from people that I feel like I love. But if those people are not willing to evolve, even when their situation says that the only way that this is going to get better for you is if you change. At that point, the way I receive that type of behavior is you are hurting yourself. And if you are willing to hurt yourself, then there is a strong likelihood that either consciously or unconsciously, you are going to end up hurting me too. And I am not here to hurt anyone, and I am not here to be hurt by anyone. And when I need to do what I need to do because hurt is what we're experiencing, I would rather hurt through the process of walking away as opposed to being hurt by you and staying where it is that we are no longer called to be. I am, Lord knows, I pray and pray and pray, Lord, bring me people who are willing to build. Bring me people who I can meet them where they are, get an understanding for, their passions and their motivations and what it is that they want within their lives and for their loved ones, and to be able to be in active and mindful pursuit of that. But if you're just going through the motions because you've been in motion for so long without a destination, without a vision, without a plan, like you don't realize your impact. You don't realize the opportunities when you may hurt someone else. You don't realize hurt is following you. And for some people, hurt may be preceding you. So anybody that you come in contact with, you come in contact hurting them from the jump because you're not the version of the person that you really need to be interacting with that person. Hurt may be following you from that past relationship that you haven't healed from. And in all of my conversations, nothing that I'm talking about is restricted solely to intimate romantic relationships. Like I told you in the beginning, and I've told you for the past couple of weeks, every single relationship that I have like left from my transition period, and my transition period is moving from Houston back to Tulsa, and it's been what, 4 years now. I only had a handful of relationships in the first place, and now I'm at a point to where no relationship that I previously had either looks the way that it did before or is still around like it was before. I'm sitting at my table. Go back and watch last week's episode. Yeah, that doesn't mean that people don't have permanent places at my table. Those people know who they are. And I'm pretty sure I have permanent placement at their tables. But right now, I need everybody to get up from my table and let me assess my table. Let me see what condition that is in. Let me see who actually needs to be there. Let me see what I need to rebuild so that my table is one that will stand for the rest of my life. So, one of the first things when it comes oh, this topic of walking away from the hurt ones we love, you have to recognize toxic patterns. Now, toxic is a word that, while Merriam-Webster has a specific definition for it, society and situations give us the opportunity to have a lot of different definitions of toxic. Queen Sun, if you are watching this, I am currently talking to the people. So I will have to call you when I get done. But yeah, recognizing toxic patterns. So one thing that my therapist had asked me in my experience of the situation where I was fumbled is, what am I enabling? And after last week's conversation and, the question that I posed about why do people with avoidant behaviors and avoidant people, why are they attracted to me? Violet Hunter, thank you for presenting that question to me. It did get my thought process going. It is because I seek to really do, like, and to make it a point not to judge people. But I think my real issue is being the Pisces that I am. I'm very empathetic. So my understanding values people's experiences, but my empathy makes me stay too long, or it makes me overextend myself further than what I should. Other than my kid, everybody else that I'm dealing with is adults. So if an adult acts in a manner that is not of an adult, why should I be the one to be like, oh, like, I see better in you. I see better for you. Like, and it's not the false facade of uh, potential. It is my hope and belief of what I've seen within our engagements. But for some people, they can um, take advantage of that, because it's just like now that new energy is there. They have someone who cares about them. They have someone who they feel will never walk away. They have someone who will always support them. They have someone that they feel will always be there. In my situation, I'm there until I'm not. That was a kind of toxic pattern that I had to recognize within myself, and then also based in my experiences. And then in the romantic space, for some reason, I keep allowing myself to be attracted to people who are not ready. There is no other way to say that. Like my ex husband in the beginning, yeah, I was fully told everything. I'm not ready. I'm in the process of, uh, like unmingling finances and just going through the process that should naturally be done when a breakup happens. And it's just like in my first experience, it was like, oh, okay, like I'm literally gonna sit back and I'm gonna wait for this dude. And I did. But I'm like, hey, I'm still here. Don't forget about me. Hey, I can still do this. I can still be this for you. Like to the point to where he was like, okay, like let's do this. Not a maybe natural let's do this, but it's just like, okay, our upbringing is very similar. We've gone through some of the same situations. We feel the same way. Like this is easy. Let's try it. And we tried it. Like we were together for 12 years. We have a child together. We got married and divorced. Um, but we did it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like I learned a lot from that experience after 12 years of being intermingled with someone, and even doing it that deep. Yeah, I learned a lot. And then after that relationship, I took my time to just kind of be to myself. I moved back to Tulsa. No one knew that I was here for like a year and a half, over a year and a half. And then I was like, okay, like I'm good. I've been, focusing on myself, making sure that I am not instantly looking for something like when it comes to a relationship, but still being mindful of like I'd like to be able to interact with someone who wants to build, if nothing else, wants to build. And my next real experience, it was just like, okay, like this guy seems pretty cool. Like I kind of know of him. We have a somewhat history together, but no real history together. But that was enough to start what was going on. And there were just a lot of things that there were similarities to the beginning of my relationship with my ex-husband in this new experience. And for me, had I like really fully been healed, I feel I wouldn't have engaged in it. It's just like, nah, but then that's too similar. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it different. Vocal. I'm gonna say what it is that I need to say, and I am going to make sure that I call a spade at all times. Cool. That's a toxic trait that I have because I'm not willing, or I wasn't willing to fully see things for what they were and then put that up against like what it was that I really wanted. So I started engaging in this experience. And yeah, I mean, I felt like I was doing good. I felt like I was growing because, like I said, I was doing things differently for myself that I didn't do the first time around. But the other person was still the same type of person that I had already engaged with. It's just like, okay, like, I don't know, maybe low key that I can change this time. And so the experience went on for like almost 2 years. And I know people, it's like, girl, you crazy. Like, it don't take that long. But what I needed to gain from that experience, it did take that long. And it was like God's timing. I'm not saying I was naive and just stayed in it just to stay in it. There were times where it's just like, no, like if this is what it is, uh-uh. But each time before that, within this 2 year experience, that I allowed no contact to go on, I was always the one that broke no contact. Whether it's like something little, it's just like, girl, really, like you didn't need to do that. But it is, by that time, enough time had been spent, enough interaction had happened, it became a drug to me. So when my serotonin levels started getting low, I was like, okay, I ain't been talking to this person. I ain't been seeing this person. Like, yeah, I need a fix. So then that's when the phone calls and the text messages resumed and started up because of me. And now, I have said what I needed to say. I am a person who prides herself on her words, and I am intentional about how I display my words. So for me, when I got to the point to where it was just like, oh, okay, Nicole, we're not doing this toxic stuff no more, because this is toxic. Some people would look at it and say it's not that bad. If I'm not getting what I need and or what I want, and according to my therapist and one of my really good girlfriends and just a couple other people, what I want is not asking for too much. But what I want is asking for different than maybe who this person is or who this person is willing to be. So, like I said, I'm very intentional about my words because I've said and said and said and said and said, hoping that, okay, the more I say it, it's going to change. Now I'm at I shouldn't have to say it that much. So, what I chose to do was to write a letter. That's permanent. In pen, on paper, into that person. This is how I feel. While I do love you, this is out of alignment with me. This is not something that I can move forward with. I still want the best for that person, but I had to understand that toxic cycle and the prolonged exposure was having negative effects on so many different areas of my life, my health, my happiness, my personal growth, my wanting to interact with other people, wanting to interact with my daughter. Like, literally, I was a crackhead for love because that is all I wanted to expose myself to. But I can no longer do that and be healthy. Not only with that, like I said, I'm a Pisces. So, of course, there was a myriad of emotional consequences that I explored, that I experienced as a part of not walking away from that hurt person that I loved. But now I'm also like right after that happened, I had to get to the point of going through a new set of emotional turmoil, because now I actively have to make a decision every single day to stay walked away from this hurt person that I love, so that neither one of us can hurt me anymore. There is a lot of angst. There is a lot of that part of the process when you have to deal with the emotional consequences of staying way too long, as well as choosing to walk away from that hurt person that you love. It's almost like you go through the stages of grief. And you do, and I remember that is one thing that my therapist said, especially like towards the beginning of the end. He was like, everything that you're describing, everything that you're saying sounds like you're going through the stages of grief behind this relationship. Now, when I was talking with my therapist at that time, I'm like, you keep calling it a relationship, but because that designation hadn't been officially made, I didn't feel like it was a relationship, but it was. Almost 2 years, it's a form of a relationship. So there is a part of that that I had to come to terms with and accept to be able to go through my stages of grief. So, like, denial. Well, this ain't even a relationship, but it is. All right, now I'm angry because I got to a point finally within this dynamic of it being something that I actually really wanted. Whereas before it was just like, oh, okay, like I'm going through the experience, not for the sake of going through the experience, because like I said, I was intentional, but it's just like, oh, okay, like, this person's cool. We spend time, we've been talking. And it's just like now all of a sudden the light switch just went off and I'm like, man, but I really want this. Then became the bargaining of, all right, well, how can I make this work? Somehow, some way I can make this work. Somehow, some way I can see a future with this. Somehow, some way, even to this day, as I'm saying this to y'all now, that is a part of my struggle. Like fully surrendering that to God, because God would not allow me to be in a situation such as that. Then came I wasn't officially depressed, so the sadness. This thing that I thought that I wanted is now, it doesn't look the way I would like for it to. It doesn't look the way that I'm trying to build for it to. It is not the thing that I honestly thought that it would be. Now I have to accept what is. Like all of that is a very hard process, and I am not super far removed from it. I still have my moments where my mind tries to take me back to what's familiar. But what is familiar with that situation when I'm not even talking to that person? I'm growing, that person is growing outside of me, but we're not growing anywhere around each other. So we don't know what each other's experiences are. We don't know what mindset elevations are occurring. We don't know anything anymore about one another. And this ain't a situation that I walked away from yesterday. It's been a while, a few weeks. It's been a few weeks. So the next step for me, and hopefully other people who are going through this journey as well, is like once you accept what is, you have to go through your process of feeling what you need to feel. Allow yourself to feel it all. Don't compartmentalize, don't push down, don't shy away, don't feel any type of way about the way that you feel after you have to walk away from someone, because that's all a part of the process. But one thing that is very crucial and important is to practice self care. In a decision to walk away from the hurt ones that we love, self compassion as well as self care are important. If you're watching this and you haven't walked away from that person, it's important before you decide to walk away from that person. If you're watching it after the separation, it is just as important, if not more important, because we always pour. And when something shifts up the cup that we're accustomed to pouring into, especially if it's another person, then we can continue the practice of pouring, and it just goes right out onto the ground because there's nothing there. There's not a cup of that other person there anymore that we're pouring into. So we need to reverse that flow and start pouring back into ourselves once we decide to walk away from someone. There are a lot of practical self care steps that can be done. I can only tell mine, and some that I want to explore. So for me, every morning when I am either on my drive or when I make it to work, I listen to Grace for Purpose on YouTube because I love the prayers that they expose me to. I listen to it's a mindset elevation one that gives me the inspiration, the motivation, and the um, positive words that it is that I need to listen to. I listen to Eric Thomas because his story to me, like it really resonates in the way that he conveys what it is that he says. It hits home for me, and I'm like, all right, ET, like I hear you. I be talking to him like I know him. I ain't never met the man before, but when something like that speaks to me, I listen, and then I also incorporate affirmations. Right now, I am listening to affirmations that kind of align with me coming into a sense of awareness and a sense of belief for what it is that I actually deserve. Growing up, I never had those types of conversations. This is the first time in my life where I am listening to and speaking that type of language for myself to talk about the things that I deserve. That is a self care strategy that I have in place. Um, Making sure that I'm eating. I am vegetarian. I got away from it for a little bit. When I am going through emotional stuff, 9 times out of 10, I am wanting to eat something sweet and just, or snack all the time and not take the best care of myself. And that situation is no more. So I have no reason not to engage in the things that I need to engage in. I journal. I don't do it as often as I'd like to, but I am working to get better with that. And I have also sought support. Therapy was never something that in a million years of my life before now that I ever thought that I would engage in. Again, these are conversations that just were not talked about in my house. Nothing wrong with it. Those were the times. But I've now gone through like 2 different rounds of therapy. The first time I went through therapy was after my divorce and after I moved to be able to process of or to be able to process where I literally was within my own life, where I was within my own journey, with how I felt I was behaving based on how I was feeling with my daughter. Like what is not worked out gets acted out. Read Good Boundaries and Goodbyes, and it'll explain that for you. I just wanted a better understanding of where I was and where it was that I wanted to be and how to get there. Cool. So that helped. Then I got into the experience with the gentleman that I was telling you about, and it was just like, yeah, I'm not handling this very well. Like I need to be able to talk to someone, and the things that I needed to be able to discuss, it had something to do with him, but there was a lack of information that would be given that would fully bring the perspective that I needed home. I My dad wasn't in my life, so I realized a lot of the stuff that I dealt with in my marriage was from abandonment issues. I became extra anxious. I became what most people would call extra clingy. Um, I became the type of person that made everything about that other person, and I did not wholeheartedly think about myself. Then, after things started not to go best with my marriage, okay, I'm focused on my child. I love her. I want to give her the best. Of course, I'm not focusing. on me. I'm not really talking to anyone that is going to be able to help me. Friends and family, they don't necessarily understand because they're just as invested in our relationship as I am, as the right people in your life should be. I need to be able to talk to someone who does not know me so I can get my perspective out with my view of how things are and really get what I need. And I understood that a lot of the issues that I was experiencing and processing through was from the lack of male energy in my life growing up. Like my grandfather was there, my brother was there, but again, I was not having certain conversations and certain engagements with them as my family. So I knew that me seeking out a male therapist to be able to process through what I was experiencing with this relationship issue was what I needed. And I am beyond thankful for Dr. Pons. I'm sad because I only got a couple more sessions with him and he won't be my therapist anymore because he's moving on to great and amazing things in his life. Um, but I knew I had male perspective in order to start to get things to make sense. And once I decided to become, open, honest, and transparent with my communications with my therapist, so many things changed, not from the perspective of him illuminating what that guy was doing or not doing. It was still focused mostly on me and how I was behaving and how I was acting. So, in the step of, or in the process of walking away from the hurt ones that we love, like be sure to seek and offer support, but be mindful of the support that you're offering. Like I said, in my last experience with this gentleman, I don't have no ill will towards him. I don't look at him in any type of way. There is no malice in my heart. I don't feel as though he intentionally treated me a particular way while we were engaging. Um, I do feel as though he did not allow the openness needed to receive me as who I am and who I've been, placed in his life to be. Like I do feel like um, we were kind of put in each other's orbit by God, but then the rest of the decisions were on us. And I do genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, wish him and his family the best. Like I still pray, and I'm like, God, I pray for your best for this person. And I said that to him in the letter because I really mean it. Because I want that for myself. So that is the way that I have offered support to him. Um, but I am not actively trying to play a role in being his support system. And I am looking at my support system and how my support system has gotten me through a very difficult change. Like in I have the right people that I need as my support system, the ones that I really, really talk to. Because in the process of walking away from the hurt ones that we love, and I promise I'm not gonna go too much longer. But in the process of walking away from the hurt ones that we love, it's like the ebb and flow of the ocean. One moment your emotions and your experiences will be out just like the tide. And then the next minute you look up, it'll be crashing. Sometimes down on you, sometimes up against you, sometimes only at your feet. But it comes and it goes, comes and it goes. Having a support system that truly supports where you are in the coming and going, the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings and process of everything Like, that is very important, because you never know the true value of your support system when you're not going through anything, right? It always takes going through something for your support system, for you to really like see it, to really appreciate it, to really like take that extra thought, that extra time to be mindful and say, you know what, I was a complete B like 2.5 seconds ago. But that person let me be that B. That person let me, talk crazy. They didn't take offense to what I said. They didn't feel as though I was directing it towards them. Like, they know me. They know me. And they understand like how I communicate, what I'm needing in this moment to friends and family. The entire month of July, my phone was on do not disturb, because one, what I was going through, and two, I had to reprogram myself not to be the type of person that anticipates, oh, well, today is going to be the day. He does something completely different and he reaches out to me, or he shows up at my job, or he, knocks on my door. Like, I had to decompress and I had to disconnect. And then I got to a point to where it was just like my phone was already on do not disturb. It was time for the bill to get paid. Hey, I'm just gonna let that mug stay off. Like, I'm not tripping. Like, the people who need to get in touch with me in that moment when my phone was off, they knew how to get in touch with me. Or I made it a point through my bat channel to be able to reach out to them, even to just let them know, hey, I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm living, I'm still feeling this roller coaster of a mess, but I'm here. Thank you for being there. Whether it's watching sermons, whether it's sending me stuff on Instagram to make me laugh, whether it's understanding that I don't really want to talk right now. I don't want to say nothing to nobody about anything. And some of them were going through, similar things or their own things. And I just didn't have the capacity to do it. But they understood, because they knew that right now the ocean of Nicole is out, but she will come back in. And when she comes back in, hey, okay, if she want to talk about it, we can talk about it. If not, I'm okay with that too. And that's the way your support system should be. Because in all of this, in the process of walking away from the hurt ones that we love, the final thing that has to be done is the rebuilding and moving forward process. Like I said, I actively have to make the decision every single day. And I say that with my eyes closed, because it is a hard decision to have to make every single day. But I have to choose me every single day. And that is a part of what makes the decision not as hard. I know that with everything I have experienced with that situation, I have a like I said, a supernatural sense of peace, because I am like no longer bothered. Excuse me. I still have my thought processes. I still have my feelings. I still have those, opportunities where I'm remembering certain things, or I'm seeking that person to seek me in random places that I know that they are not, or we ain't never encountered together. And it's just like, all right, Nicole, like, as a part of rebuilding this, I have to unconnect the connections that are still keeping me connected. And I have to be intentional about my pursuit to unconnect those connections. And I can't unconnect those connections by myself, because I haven't been able to do it up until this point. Lord, fix it. I am comfortable now letting my thought process commence. Like if a thought comes into my head, it's just like, all right, cool, we're gonna take this moment and this opportunity right now, and we're gonna let the thought be what the thought is, the feelings feel what the feelings want to feel, and then after that, Lord, take it. And in that, the moving forward is I can't pick up, or I can't try what I'm asking the Lord to handle. I can't take back what I'm asking the Lord to take out. I can't pick up what it is that I know needs to be put down and left down. But it still goes up against like my faith in the big God that I know is watching over me, who loves me, who is like, all right, like my daughter, like she a little hard headed, and she in the past has tried to do these things on her own, and that's not what I have called for her. And it is still a part of my rebuilding process of, Lord, sometimes I feel like a life with that person is still what I want. I know you can change it around. You can make the impossible possible. Like it's all of the, trying to reason with myself. But in that experience, I wasn't myself. I shrunk down. I diminished myself to a certain extent, a little bit. No more. We're moving forward, forward, forward on me, forward on what I need, and forward on God. That is my commitment to myself. And then also in that, like I said, every single relationship that I've had, familial, friendship, parental, romantic, they've all been affected. It's like, yeah, Lord was like, all right, baby girl, we need to move a couple things around. Like, we really need to get you out of this sense of seeking so much from other people when I've already given you a lot of what you need. So now, in the process of moving forward, I am looking from the perspective of making sure that I'm able to identify, like, establishing healthier relationship patterns for my future, and recognizing people by the fruit of their spirit. And that is one thing that I pray when I come in contact with meeting someone new, or if there's someone before that was in my life, it's just like, hey, Lord, like, if they ain't trying to build, they ain't trying to be understanding, if they ain't trying to be open, if they're not trying to be in relationship with me, yeah, don't bring that over here. And I now also have like a set of boundaries in place, and I am able to better understand what it is that I don't want in relationships and in the people in my life. So some people may call that those red flags. Okay. Yeah, flag on the play. Mm-hmm. Get out the stadium. Don't go back, 10 yards like in football. And I know football season starts next month, but it's just like, no, like, all right, cool. If a red flag is shown, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to pay attention to it. And yeah, everything just hits differently now, but I am appreciative of the experience. And if nothing else, it gives me the opportunity to be able to reach out and communicate with you guys and share my story. And I hope that this really has helped someone. I hope that it has shared some insight. I hope that it has allowed you to get to know me a little bit better. So, wrapping up, walking away from someone we care about is never easy, but sometimes it's necessary for our own well being and growth. It's a decision that requires courage, self respect, and a lot of support. Remember, letting go of hurtful relationships allows us not only to heal, but also to open ourselves to new, healthier forms of love and affection. I look forward to you guys being able to join me next time as we continue to explore the transformative life strategies that elevate our mindset and life quality. Next Sunday, I will be talking about okay, you walked away. Now what? And it's about what comes next for you guys, what comes next for me now that I am standing all the way firm in my decision. I'm standing on me and I'm standing on God. So if this episode has resonated with you, please, please, please share it with someone who might benefit from it. My intention in coming and speaking to you guys every Sunday is to be able to change the narrative of the way that we do life together. And also, please don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how to navigate life's challenges with strength and grace. Thank y'all again for joining me on this journey toward a more fulfilled and peaceful life. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, thank you for being a part of this experience. So, as always, please, please, please go out, live a good life filled with real love and all of the above. So until next Sunday, it's only 7 days away. Like have a good week, have a good evening, and go love on somebody. Go love on your family, go love on your friends, go love on your kids. Like we need more real love in this world. Love y'all. See y'all next